in so that his AoE passive doesn't proc onto me. His auto passive doesn't proc onto me. So look at that. You don't tether the Q probably, and you take the Galio passive. Now, the reason I'm going into so much detail here, and especially this levels 1 and 2, is because this changes the game completely. This really does change the game completely. Now, Galio is queuing through the entire wave and just shoving you in, and you're going to find it very difficult to actually CS quite effectively like this, because now you're forced to CS onto tower. So it looks like Nidalee started bot side, and this is actually going to make Galio's life easier, believe it or not, in a way. So I like that you're poking here, but this can actually make Galio's life easier. Because Galio in the early game actually just kind of wants to use his offense as his defense. He's actually really not good at dealing with getting shoved in the early game anyway. Does that kind of make sense, this strategy? No, I would probably queue through the melees onto the Galio, and then continuously auto the melees, and then stand kind of like away from the wave a little bit so that Galio can't queue me and the wave, or like I can at least avoid the damage if he does queue the wave. So like the thing is with Galio as well, one thing you kind of okay, so there's a certain location that you kind of got to go in. So obviously we know, and this is very specific to Galio, is to say Galio queues you. We know that it's going to go like this, right? And it's going to be like a circle here. So you either got to make a choice. You're either like kind of walking forward into this little pocket in the middle, or you're standing so far out that if Galio chooses to use the Winds of War at you here, it's actually not going to touch this wave. Do you see that?
Yeah. He has to choose between wave clear and me.
You're standing in the perfect position where it's actually going to go and then onto the wave as well.
Right.
Gotcha. So it doesn't actually achieve that much. So my goal is you got to find those pockets, either walking straight forward where it doesn't hit you, or you're
Gotcha.
standing really far out. Now, again, this sort of trade, right? And this is the thing. If you were to have the shove onto the Galio here, you take these QW trades, and especially after the Galio has already used his Q, you just keep autoing and queuing, and you can actually just get insanely good trades.
Okay,
and
so I've heard you talk about this. Also, I messaged you about kind of trading when it's building into him, like in the Victor guide too. I'm not really like, I don't understand what's like the kind of the benefit of like trading when you have a minion advantage. I don't really understand.
Well, if you have a minion advantage, they can't really trade back, because if they trade inside the minion wave, they're just gonna lose. They're gonna take a lot of damage from your minions, right?
Right.
Your minions are gonna attack them.
Yeah, of course.
And the other thing as well is like, okay, let's just say, especially when you're playing versus a melee, it's really effective.
Okay.
Because if you think about it, right? Let's just say if we actually go back here to, like, let's just say for the sake of the example, these were the only two minions that Galio had, and you had all of these minions.
Right.
All right, but let's just say this was transported like deeper on the lane or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? What happens if you walked up and like you look for a trade? Galio, in order to win that trade, has to E onto you.
Right.
He has to like do a full combo. He has to turn back around, E onto W auto, and then like get a trade. But the problem is, if he does that inside a minion wave, you can stand your ground. You just EU. Yes, you're going to take a heavy trade, but he's going to take more damage than you. And then with your phase rush and with your movement speed, you can actually chase and get like 3 autos on the back end as well.
Yeah, okay.
And there's going to be extra minion damage. And you can actually afford to chase him because there's he doesn't have as many minions. So you don't mind taking the minion damage. There's only like maybe 2 or 3 minion damage comparatively. So that's kind of what the difference is.
Gotcha.
So now that is see how great that positioning is with the Q? It was like just outside.
Gotcha.
That was much better. And now this is the problem. It's so much harder here for you to punish this Galio, because whenever you auto, you're going to take... See that? Yeah. See how you're taking damage from the cannon creep? Look at this. You auto, and this cannon creep switches to you. You take the Q and 2 hits from the cannon and a range creep. So it's so much harder for you to do that.
Yeah.
That's what the minion thing does. That's what the minion advantage does.
Okay.
So, this isn't played terribly. It just, I just don't think it's optimal. And, like, you haven't really been able to punish this Galio whatsoever. And
Yeah, I definitely didn't think it was optimal. So is there like a kind of I've watched obviously like the slow building holding waves video. So I should kind of just like be constantly autoing minions to kind of build that minion advantage versus melee.
Okay, let's break it down. Let's break this down because it seems like you're a little bit confused about this. Okay, so Orianna has let's actually take a look at any perk champion. Doesn't matter who they are, whether it's a Syndra, whether it's a Victor, whether it's an Orianna, whether it's a Vel'Koz, whatever it is. Their main strength of their kit is that they have a long range poke ability.
Right.
Right. Now, the benefits of having a long range poke ability, especially Orianna and even Victor with both their E and Orianna's Q, is that you can move while casting it.
Right.
Which makes it incredibly effective because you can tether very, very well. And it's, especially for Orianna, it's low cooldown and low cost. So the benefit of having a long range poke ability is that, you can take non-committal trades. But the problem is if you're the one getting shoved in, it's very difficult for you to actually land this ability because you're focused so much on like autoing creeps or trying to thin waves or like dodge their skill shots. Because again, the less minions they have to worry about, the more time they can spend attacking you. So it goes both ways. It's like a two-way street. It's like they spend less time. They can spend less time worrying about their killing minions, and you have to spend more time.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yeah.
So now what happens when you're playing any of these champions, my default response is when I play a Victor matchup, when I play an Orianna matchup, I'm always thinking, okay, can I shove early and really bully them levels 1 to 3? Can I do that in this matchup? Now, you will be able to do it in a lot of matchups, say 75% of matchups, but then there are some exceptions where you can't do it. So what I want your mindset heading into a game as Orianna, the first question I want you to ask yourself is, can I bully levels 1 to 3?
Okay.
Right? That's the first question you want to answer. Now, Galio, Galio has a piss weak levels 1 to 3. Right? Because Galio level 1 is a melee champion, only has access to the Q, and the Q ability really isn't that. It's pretty underwhelming and has a high cooldown and a high mana cost. And then outside that, he's level 2. His E without the W is kind of useless as well, so he has to kind of wait till level 3. That's why champions like Fizz and things like that, they can get poked a lot levels 1 to 3.
Right.
Now, so you always got to be thinking, can I bully levels 1 to 3? Now, because you're in high diamond, you really got to maximize the effectiveness of your kit.
Right.
Especially as Orianna. You really got to maximize this opportunity to poke. Because it's kind of like with Victor as well. If you don't abuse your really strong early poke, then again, you're just going to allow the enemy to minimize levels 1 to 3. They will punish you at level 3. And you won't have the ability to minimize. It'll be very difficult.
Right. So
what I'm saying here is that this should be where you start with. Can I bully levels 1 to 3? Now, if you want to bully levels 1 to 3, that's where you kind of Q through the wave onto the enemy with a high value Q. You auto the wave down. You don't like hard shove. As long as you have the minion advantage, and you try to slow build, get as much poke down, and abuse the levels 1 to 3 as much as possible. Now, there's other matchups where you can't do this. The matchups where you can't do this is either they have a really strong early like level 2 ganking jungler, like a Shaco or like a Nunu or something like that. Sometimes even like a Jarvan. You can't really feel the need to do that.
Right.
So that in these situations. Also, versus champions that you really want the wave on your side by levels, by like level 2, 3. Some of them, because sometimes they can actually all in you. Or the situations where you're the one, or actually you just lose level 1. Sometimes you just lose level 1. So for example, Yasuo, you can't really shove in a Yasuo because at level 2, level 3, he will actually, level 2, he'll start all ending you and it'll be really rough. Right. You lose level 1 hard to champions like Lucian mid, for example, so you actually can't really shove. So there's actually certain matchups where you can't really do this.
Yeah.
So, and this is where just experience of matchups really comes into play, understanding your matchups. But Um, and even sometimes versus Fizz, I don't even like to do this strategy, even though he does have a weak levels 1 and 2. But because he's level 3 and playing off the bounce wave is so annoying that I don't really want to deal with that. But then it really, then it really comes down to the jungle matchup.
Right.
And if the jungle matchup's really favorable, then I will do that because I know that Fizz has no gank threat. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Honestly, everything you just said like has connected like 100 dots in my head that were separate ideas. But yeah, cool. 100%. I think in this Echo game, I actually do that strategy like kind of unknowingly. But yeah, that makes sense. Like the high value like death ray and like the high value like Q, I didn't actually like realize that those were like kind of interconnected to like the slow building kind of idea.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
makes so much sense.
And then also the other thing as well, man, is that you're suffering the consequences. Okay, two things I need to mention here. One, right now you are suffering the consequences of playing like you have. Because Galio has pressure and is relatively healthy and is able to attend a side lane skirmish. That's what you failed to prevent him doing. Right? And number two is that this strategy of like shoving and playing a very aggressive Orianna is much harder to do than playing the way you're playing right now. Because in order to play this very aggressive style of Orianna and Victor, you have to have great tethering, you have to have great jungle tracking, you have to have great leaning, and you have to have great warding.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens is if those 4 things like kind of tie together and you're able to do them reliably, that's where you start to become an absolute dominant force.
Gotcha.
And you and you can't afford to play Orianna like a bitch in a way to get to like Master Plus. Like the reason Orianna is effective in those elos is because she can do this.
Yeah.
Because this just changes the game. Now Galio TPs to a side lane and it prevents the Galio, the Udyr from escaping and gets double buffs and then done.
Gotcha.
Like if I'm in a review, in my own review, this is like, I'm basically already like just, all right, I'm not to say the game is over, but I've already failed.
Yeah,
like,
I failed to keep him.
Babong, I failed. Like there goes my early game.
Yeah. Because
now my winning or my Nars screwed, my Udyr is behind, and it's all done. But in an alternate reality where you're the one pressuring, this Galio is really, really low. Galio can't TP to a side lane skirmish.
Yeah. It's just kind of like just a failure of like a bunch of the fundamental kind of stuff.
And it's a small, and this is the thing, dude. You're in an elo where these small details matter.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I talk about reverse engineering. This has felt bad for you, didn't it? The Galio TPing to this.
Yeah.
So what I would do, I would say to myself, oh, well, why was Galio able to do this? Because, this is how I created my way of playing Orianna. The way I created this way of playing Orianna was I hated this happening.
Yeah.
Galio, like a roaming champion or as a talent, whatever, like being able to do that. I hated that. So I just thought to myself, well, how do I prevent that? What do I do? And then I'm like, okay, I have to change the way I'm playing it because this is just, I can't allow them to do that. Because now the game's like much harder. It's out of my control in a way.
Yeah.
So we'll watch a little bit. We'll watch a little bit further here, but that is absolutely massive. So looks like Nidalee did a bot to top clear, ended up top side, so we can probably safely assume that Nidalee's back onto the bot side of the map here. Good tethering here. Okay.
Yeah, I kind of realized right there that I would have really liked to have thinned it more.
Galio is moving to top side here. Should probably ping just in case.
Yeah, it's a bit late.
Okay. Yeah. Because we know Galio moved onto top side here, right? Like just the way you just saw him walk onto top side.
Yeah.
So what you should do is you should be danger.
Yeah.
Because remember, Galio also has Predator. So it's a sign that he's probably going to go for more aggressive roams.
Right.
And another little... Oh, okay. I like it. Nice. Good counter.
Yeah, we kind of... That kind of blows the game out a little bit. But... Yeah, I definitely, played that really poorly leading up to that teleport.
So one other little thing here, just as an extra, cherry on top, is that when if this was say a 0-0 game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say this were a game where like nothing happened in the early game. The chances that Galio actually commits to a roam topside here is actually relatively small. But one thing you have to keep in mind is that if Camille's already ahead and something's already happened, the chances that more fights will happen on the top side is much higher.
Yeah.
So that's why when I saw Galio move up like that, I was so confident saying, "Oh, it looks like he's probably going to roam top side." It's not just because he's land. It's because, again, he probably thinks Nah has no flash.
Yeah.
He probably thinks that Camille's already got a decent item, so it's like there's a lot more kill threat, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think I just kind of hesitated on it because like I saw the wave positioning and was like, oh, like there's no way like he'll go for that. You know? But I mean, glad he did, honestly.
All right, fast forwarding here. I think you just go for a reset. You're right now.
Well, I think I pop a biscuit and like kind of try to take a base on a cannon wave because I still have the corrupting pot. I don't know. I guess I should have.
Okay, let's break this down. This is very important.
Okay.
All right, so we did see Galio also up here as well, right?
Right.
So Galio has to react to this wave. You help get the wave out for Nah. Beautiful. So what do we see? We see Galio still reacting to this top wave, and we know that no one's going to be mid lane. So it's not like you're really missing out on much. You have 670 gold. You can easily buy an amp tomb and whatever it is. It's just an amp tomb and then come back. You don't lose anything. Like, what do you lose for resetting right now?
Yeah, nothing.
You don't really lose anything. But the main point here is that you've already used 2 corrupting pot stacks and you're 10% mana. Gotcha. So yes, I could see if Galio was mid right now, I could see how like you would feel pressure to go mid. But Galio's here.
Gotcha.
Galio's here. So I'm thinking to myself, well, if I have a free reset opportunity, I'm going to take it. I want to maximize my resources. Because you got to remember is that mana on mages is absolutely everything. Like, if you don't have mana, like, you have nothing. You have no threat. You're just a bot. And you've only got one. You've got 2 biscuits, 1 corrupting pot, but that's not going to last long at all. And you want to keep Galio in the lane, don't you?
Yeah.
You want to be able to play aggressive enough so that Galio can't roam. If I only have 1 corrupting pot, 2 biscuits, and 10% mana here, I don't feel confident in keeping Galio locked in the lane. I know I'm probably going to go off like 2 waves, and then Galio's going to get a free roam.
Gotcha. Yeah. I think the idea that I maybe had was like I can use this corrupting pot and 2 biscuits and get a lost chapter off like 3 or 4 waves. Or is that just like a crap idea?
Anyway, you can literally do that. You can reset twice. Because remember that you don't lose anything for that reset. Like Orianna probably could have just easily held that wave for you, and then you would have come back to this wave, and it would have been all good.
Okay, yeah. I gotcha. Because I could have kind of had tempo on Galio as he was dealing with that huge top wave.
Because look at this. Now you're basically and you got to stay in lane for 300 gold. And you're going to give Galio a lot of room here. But, we're talking little small details here.
Right.
All right. This is where things are going to get a bit sketchy for you here. So Galio come back off a reset.
I think I kind of save it with like a tempo. I clear an entire wave with ult, I'm pretty sure.
I really dislike the way you're using your W right now. Like, what do those Ws do? Look at how you use these Ws. Ready? Like, what's your intention right now? So, like, look at this low value W. W costs 70 mana.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even get through half of his magic shield.
Right.
W is a luxury. Okay. You very, very, very rarely want to be using W just to wave clear. I mean, unless you have a lot of mana, it's fine.
Oh, no,
but my point is here is that, again, remember here, dude, you're you want to look for a reset. Why? What is, and again, twice, you've used 140 mana just to get through a magic shield in which you're just going to reset anyway.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
And what does that do? Well, I mean, I don't know what you're doing right now in the sense like, what's your intention? Is your intention to thin the wave? Is your intention to get a reset yourself? What's your intention here?
Yeah, that's a really good point. Oh man,
Because
that's
I,
actually
in my opinion,
such a good point.
because in my opinion, it's like here, it's like all right, if you want to just reset for your lost chapter, that's fine. But just use all your mana on this wave and just reset right now. Just alt the wave, use everything, and then boom. Like
Yeah,
that QW doesn't make sense. Like, and just use your alt now. It doesn't matter.
right.
You've already got enough gold for your lost chapter here, and you can't. And then look how slow it is. And Gali, see, and notice how Gali's roaming and doing all this shit here. Look at that.
Yeah. Oh man. So if I kind of do
So
that
this
first
is
reset all the way back,
yeah.
none of this happens.
This is all of this. So Galio going bot. So that was 5 minutes 20. Galio going bot and doing this is based off your decisions made at 5 minutes 20, 2 minutes ago.
Right.
Because Galio has the room to do this. And again, the longer you stay in lane with no mana, the more room you give the enemy.
Right.
And that's where tempo comes into play. This is all tempo assessment. Believe it or not, and like what actually happened in my mind at 5 minutes 20 was I was thinking about not my tempo now. I was thinking about my tempo reset 2 minutes from now. I was thinking, well, if I go to lane now, how am I going to get a tempo reset? I don't know.
Right.
That's what I was literally thinking. I was thinking right now, if I take a reset, then I might be able to get a tempo reset, another one later on, because I'm going to have enough resources.
Gotcha. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes so much sense.
And this is the thing, dude. You're playing a control mage, right? So whenever you're versing any roam-oriented champion, your entire mentality should be, how can I lock them in lane? What do I need to lock them in lane? I need mana.
Yeah.
I need to play aggressive. I need to lean. I need to put wards out. I need to lock this guy in lane. Now, if you're rocking up to lane here with 5% mana, it's really rough.
Right. Yeah. I think this is like absolutely the worst part of my like kind of gameplay that like chokes out the rest of it, because I mean, believe it or not, I feel like I play like team fights and other things very well on her.
Yeah, well, I can see so far is that you're like from what I'm seeing is that your movement and your tethering and your skill shot accuracy, everything like that, it's fine. I can tell you look very comfortable in Orianna, like your movement and everything. It's actually quite nice.
Yeah, I feel so fucking lost in lane, and everything you're saying. I think like, oh my god, the W thing like makes so much sense, and like,
yeah,
oh my god, every game I use the W like from level 2 to wave clear. I don't know why, like it seems so common sense.
You don't really want to do that because it actually doesn't even do that much damage because you're not even maxing it.
Right.
You max Q,
and it costs
the actual value. The value you get from a Q from a W versus a W is, yeah. So in my opinion, this game's just kind of out of your control now. Like Galio's gone to the side lane twice. You know, if I'm in this situation, I'm not saying it's unlosable, but I'm saying it's like end of review in a way. Like I failed.
Yeah.
Like this would like now I'm playing a game from behind.
Yeah.
For no reason.
Crazy thing
like,
is we actually come back and like I actually hard carry this game really hard.
Yeah. Because I don't think, I mean, from what I've seen so far in the past, even in our previous sessions, is like, I don't think that's your problem. Like, you know Orianna's identity. You know how to perform well in these situations. Like, I can just tell, like, that's not what you need to be focusing on. And that's why, especially in like these high related, high diamond games, I'm confident in your ability to navigate from ahead.
Yeah,
I don't think that's going to be a problem for you. Okay, so now I just want to just highlight a few like little micro things here with just in terms of trading patterns. Good.
So really, like even right there, right? Like that W is like pretty useless though. Like I kind of shouldn't really be using it like until I've got a few points and it maybe like a full item.
A lot of mana now. You have lost chapter, so I think
Okay,
it's
so
fine.
it's kind of fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. I disagree with this alt usage.
I think
Okay.
my idea was just there was no objective coming up soon, and I was weak anyway, so I kind of just wanted to get out of lane.
Okay, so here. I don't know. You probably could have got a whole other QW trade there onto the Galio instead of just the W. But Pantheon walks up. Top dies. So right now nothing's happening, is it? Top's dead. Senna's coming out of base. There's no need to get pressure, is there?
Yeah, I guess not.
Nothing's happening. So what you do in this situation, what I'd do is I need a side to lean onto. I'd probably duck into this bot river right now. Maybe put a pink into that tri bush, and maybe like just spot out Pantheon if he's around there, and just try and lean to one side, or just chuck a ward over that little into the side brush. This does nothing because think about it. You don't need to reset, right? You don't need to reset. You've got a lot of resources. There's no objective. You're not preventing Galio from doing anything, and everyone, yeah, it's just nothing to do. So getting pressure there does nothing.
Gotcha.
Okay, all right. So Pantheon's bot. Here we go. So this is where we need to get vision down so we can actually start bullying this Galio. You're playing way too scared right now.
Yeah.
Boom. He just used Q on the wave. Get in his face. QW. Nice. Walk up, walk up, walk up. Auto. Beautiful, beautiful. Don't Q the minion wave like that. You want to use as many QWs onto the Galio as possible here.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right, fine. Now we can lean to one side. Ward. Like it. Nice. We're trading sides, playing towards our jungler. This is really nice. You should definitely put a pink here somewhere on that, maybe in that side mid brush or something. Shove. Nice. Now, once we get the position, the aggressive positioning on the wave, we're all good. Because now, once we can heavy lean, right? Once we come over here and we can heavy lean and we match, like Galio comes into the lane at the same time as us, we can start to posture really aggressively and lock him in the lane.
Yeah.
What I'm saying before, when you're in this situation, there's a big difference between you standing here as the wave's already coming and auto attacking and queuing the wave versus standing here.
Okay.
Like you would already have started attacking this wave, and you'd be able to thin this wave way earlier and pressure Galio way more.
Oh yeah.
Like,
okay. Yeah. That's huge.
Like it's so much harder to do this. Like, and Galio has full access to the wave like that as well. And that's what I'm saying now on this next wave. This is so much better. This sort of position, it's like a snowball effect to positioning in the mid wave sometimes. Look at this now. Look at that. Before the next wave's even spawned or you've already gotten poked down and got rid of the spell shield.
Yeah.
And now you can heavy lead to bot side. This is beautiful. Let's see what happens here. Okay, so Pantheon on bot. Nice, good poke. So look at this is the trade. That's what I'm talking about. See, I wouldn't use ult here, but yeah, like see how much better the trades are. Look at that. That's the first good trade you've been able to do, and that's only because you've actually felt like you've had a little bit of room. You've been able to posture a little bit more aggressively.
Yeah,
things like that.
Yeah, I kind of thought that was a shit ult just because Dragon's like up, but I kind of maybe felt like it was, and then he like teleported bot. I was like, what? Like so fast, but So when you talk about like using Chaos Storm and like Shockwave, like because there's been a few videos where you're like, oh, like see these Orianna players sit in lane, like not use ult ever. Like I kind of thought this was like, oh, like he's just gonna stand in it, so like maybe I can like shove him out before this objective shows up. But like, is that kind of a bad idea?
Yeah, so it really depends on what's happening on the map, right? Like what I'm getting at here in this specific situation is that I just don't think anything's happening again. So, like, I mean, your support's coming out of base. It is kind of clearing. I feel like if people were getting ready for a fight or, like... I mean, it's not terrible. It's actually not that bad. But I don't think... Actually, to be honest with you, it actually was good, but I don't think it was good. I don't think you could have known it was good.
Yeah.
It could have easily been bad. Like it actually happened to be pretty good because um, your bot lane ended up going for a gank here and ended up preventing Galio from like. Actually, to be honest with you, Galio would have probably had to back up anyway, even without ult. So the premise that again, the principle that I want you to have behind it, as long as you're doing it, is okay. Not holding onto ult the whole time and using it as like a solo kill tool, but getting pressure, and when the pressure actually means something. For example, like if you just got back to lane, and like what else going on bot? Okay, this whole time, by the way, you should be panning your camera bot and looking for a TP opportunity here.
Yeah. Okay.
There's no reason to not. There's no reason to not pan your camera here. Your bot's getting dove. There's a really good TP ward behind them as well. You could have maybe cleaned this up. So a great example of using ult aggressively is when you've reset with your jungler, same similar time, maybe
Right.
a blue buff, a red buff's coming up, or a blue buff, or a dragon, or a rift or whatever it is, and Galio just come back to lane, and you get a really really good trade, and then you take use the ult, and he's like kind of forced to reset, or he's on like a quarter HP. That allows you to get really good quality deep vision. It allows your jungler to move in, and allows your team to control the river and maybe turn it into an objective or a side lane dive or something like that.
Gotcha.
That's
Yeah.
what but it wasn't. It didn't seem like your team was ready to do something. But anyway, so that's a big problem with you not looking at bot lane as well here. All right,
Yeah.
so I kind of don't want to go any further into this VOD because I feel like it's just like end of review, like as in,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. I agree.
failed. Now it's just like the team's holding on and you're doing what you can and you're farming and that sort of thing. Like this, it's just like team fights now. Like it, and it seems like you kind of know what your role is in these fights. All right. So what we'll do is go on to the other VOD now.
Cool. So everything that you just said, I think I kind of like sort of attempt it in this VOD, but I just fucking can't like tether the Echo E so poorly and stuff.
Okay. So this is a matchup where you can again push the pace of the lane and play very aggressively, play this poke style. There's two ways of playing it. If you have a gank oriented jungler, you can actually kind of thin the wave and keep it on your side. But I really like to play this one quite aggressively. And I really like the fact that you went for corrupting pot here.
Yeah.
So I don't actually see what their jungler is this game. Oh, what was that? I didn't catch that. Do you know what the jungler was?
Oh, Graves.
Graves. Okay. Okay. Sweet. Okay, this is good. Nice Q. Because Echo has a very weak levels 1 and 2.
Right.
And if he's forced to last hit from a distance like that, he's going to miss a lot of CS. Nice auto attack. Looks like Graves started red, so we know Graves is going to do some form of bot to top clear here. Beautiful. Nice poke. Good lane positioning as well here, playing very aggressively. I like it.
I've seen Faker like going QWQ like pretty much always.
Yep. Yeah.
Do you think that's kind of optimal?
Not into Echo, but into lower engaged champions, yes.
Okay, cool.
Because into Echo, you kind of use it for peel. Like you would just like in this situation, say you're level 3, you would just like E onto you. Now look at that. This is so much better. Look at that. Beautiful. Stand your ground because you know you got a stronger level 2. Echo has a weak level 2. Beautiful. This is great.
Yeah, I almost
you can't do that.
Oh, I actually I get first blooded here.
Oh, okay. All right, let's look at this quickly. So, a few things here. Let's look at this. Okay, so this is a classic thing again, a nice little micro interaction that you will learn when versing Echo, is that it's similar to when Echo versus a Syndra. You know, they pretend that they're not going to go in, and then they kind of they get in range and then just E forward to dodge the ability and take the trade.
Right.
Even though he does the right thing, and in which case, what you have to do is your tethering needs to be even more on point, and you need to do the fadeaway Q in a way, kind of like the fadeaway E with
right.
Victor, in the sense you need to kind of walk backwards and Q at the same time, or you need to hold your Q. on you rather than like away. So
Gotcha.
yeah, it's either one or two options there. So even though he takes that trade, it's still level 2 and it's not good for Echo. So you take a really, really nice trade. Look at this. Beautiful. Stand your ground. W. Auto.
The minions are beating the shit out of him.
I think here, I don't even think you can actually kill him because your W's not up. Like, so I think you just take the small win. Like, if your W was up earlier, you could turn that into a QW and it would, like, kind of work. But anyway.
Yeah.
Trade kills. Get your tier. Gray shows up. TP back mid. Not optimal, but it is what it is. Now we know Graves is going to be topside here. So we should look to get a sneaky little ward in top river whenever possible here.
Gotcha.
Nice trade into the minion wave. Beautiful. Look at that. Look how bad this trade is for Echo because of the minion wave. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was talking about before.
Yeah, it makes a lot more sense.
All right, so Graves in river, you have first move. You can do this. Nice.
I kind of don't like even have an impact on it, but it's whatever. I think I think it was like the right idea.
Question: were you aware of what was happening in the top river here?
Yeah, 100%.
What would happen?
Yeah. I actually like
have
had my eyes like glued to my map recently.
Nice.
I turned the mini map value up to like 200 in the settings too.
Nice. So this is why you don't go Q level 2, 2 points to Q level 2, 3. Sorry, you need E.
Gotcha.
Because it's a great self peel tool, and because okay, let's just quickly talk just so you understand the theory behind it. The strength of 2 points Q is that you have better non-committal trading, right? You can just like Q from a distance, get better quality trades and more damage with your poke. That is good against champions that can't really trade back, right? Lower range champions that can't trade back or they don't have a gap closer or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Or you're really confident in dodging skill shots. You're like a Syndra and you're really confident in your skill shots. The problem is that remember your E is actually a very valuable ability because that actually gives you resistances. Just having the ball on you.
Yes, I forgot. Yeah.
So there's that. And also it gives you a shield and it allows you to proc your phase rush very easily because what happens, you QW, he then EQs onto you, you pull the ball through back onto you with your E, you gain a shield and you proc phase rush because it damages him and you run away.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's not good into any of these champs that can actually jump onto you. This is why you're going to take so much damage from these trades. Okay. All right. So Wave's in a good spot here. Very good spot. Nidalee's going to cross map, look for a double scuttle because Graze is going to go back onto bot side for those rubber banded camps. Very nice heavy posturing here.
Kind of laughed at him right there because he missed the cannon, you know.
and that's the great thing now because this is the way I like to play against Echo now. It's like kind of keep the wave in the middle, or like just kind of like pressure him and do this sort of positioning, you know, where I kind of walk past the minion wave. This is what I really like to do. The wave's too big now, so you can't really do it, but it's what it is. Now Echo's likely going to reset now because he's low, so fine. Good job, fast forwarding here. Oh, he's still staying, all right? Well, you want to go for a reset, it looks like. Nice. Reset, beautiful. With your jungler, I really like it. Good base. Come back, you have massive tempo over this Echo, because Echo has not reset, and you base on a cannon wave. That was beautiful. All right, so you've come back, got a bit of tempo. What can we do with this tempo? This is where we need to actively get our vision out and look to do something. You don't necessarily need to roam, but it's a great opportunity to get deep wards. You can even maybe lean onto top side. Looks like something's actually happening top side. No. They get this really.
Yeah. So wait, okay. At this point of the game, though, I definitely am like always watching my jungler like move into these fights, right? Prior to like Lost Chapter, I'm kind of like very, very, very hesitant to like do anything.
Really? You feel like that?
Should I
Because I actually
not feel like that?
I actually kind of feel with tier plus the amp tomb, you can actually start to do a lot of work.
Oh,
I
okay.
think before on the old Orianna, if you weren't building tier, you kind of needed both. You just needed the full Lost Chapter. But now it feels like with tier plus an amp tomb, it kind of acts as a Lost Chapter in a way because you're getting the mana from the tier plus a lot of, decent amount of AP from the amp tomb. So I actually feel like Orianna can do a lot even just with these two items.
Okay, cool. That's been something I've been definitely like thinking about.
So one thing again, this is kind of similar to the Galio VOD. My mindset, the reason why I put such a massive emphasis on warding in this specific, like these matchups right now, is because again, I'm versing a very chaotic roam-oriented champion with Echo. And what do you want to do against these champions? You want to isolate the lane. Right? You want to isolate the lane and you want to make it so that it's an isolated 1v1 so you can play your lane bully style. Orianna's a lane bully. Okay? So, in order to be a lane bully, you need to lean, right?
Yeah.
So how am I going to do that? How am I going to lean? I need really good quality wards. So I see these opportunities when I have tempo. I love it. I'm like, oh, brilliant. I can get a pink out in the dot bush or even above the red. I can get a deep trinket on the outside these raptors. Now I can actually play incredibly aggressively, leaning heavy to bot side and take trades that I want to take.
Yeah.
This is exactly what I'm thinking. And so right now, you don't use that opportunity whatsoever. You don't use your pink ward. You don't use your trinket, nothing. And now Echo comes back, and now you don't have the freedom. You don't have the positioning in the lane to actually get those good quality trades off.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think I had like 4 seconds of like autopilot there because my team was beginning to be like insanely toxic in chat, and I actually muted all of them.
Now, another little thing here, again, you got to make a choice. Are you either tethering really, really well and reacting to his movements and moving back simultaneously while queuing here? Or are or if you're not comfortable and you're not confident in your tethering and being able to do that, then you need to keep the ball on top of you so that you can take and respond with a QWE trade or whatever. Because right now, remember, when the ball's not on you, you don't have the resistances.
Right. Gotcha.
Look at that. Look at your resistance go up. Look at that. So you have 36 MR. Look when the ball's on you. You have 46. Literally 10 MR.
Yeah. Which I don't have for that whole trade.
And this is that trading pattern before. You got to recognize Echo's movements here. See how and this is where, dude, this kind of comes down to, I guess, champ mastery, and just because you're at a high diamond level now, you're going to be versing players that really understand the weaknesses of you as a control mage.
Yeah, definitely.
So you got to be on the ball, dude. Like, you got to be on the ball and tethering. Orianna's an incredibly high skill cap champion. So you got to read this guy's movements. You got to assess, what is he doing? Is he faking? Is he not? Now, this Echo's not good enough. Like, see how linear his movements are?
Right.
Like, he's not like sitting on the edge and like microing really in and out. He's just like, his movements are very linear. Like, you can easily tell what he's doing.
Yeah.
You get the blue. Same thing here, man.
Yeah, getting smoked by the E range.
See how your micro is not good enough here?
Yeah.
Look at this. Is this Orianna Q range?
No. It's low.
No, this is way too close, right?
Yeah.
As in, like, you could shoot the Orianna Q probably all the way over here.
Right.
So you failed. He's in the circle.
Right.
And then because you do that, you walk forward. Look at that. Like, look how close you are. Your micro has got to be on point. And then this is the thing. Like, look, I know you're capable of doing this, and I think a lot of people are capable of doing this sort of micro. But the reason they don't is because a lot of the time is that they either pick up poor habits because people they're not getting punished. But once you start getting to this level and you start getting acclimated to this level of play, I look at a trade like this in my review, and I'm like, what am I doing? Like, why am I just getting into his range? Why am I taking this trade?
Yeah.
You know, you got to be obsessed with these details, man.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you've taken 2 of these trades now. Look at that. Those 2 trades across the last 40 seconds, you've now used all 3 of your corrupting pots and a half HP.
Yeah.
Now look what it's going to do. Now Echo has pressure into the river. You can't really respond. Okay, Nidalee does the great escape. Nice. Definitely going to have to flash here, man.
Yeah.
You had to
Super
flash
late.
this. Okay. Okay, same thing. First thing when you get come to lane, use your pink wood. Luckily you've got a ward onto that one side there, and we actually know where Graves is, so you don't really need to use your vision trinket. Dragon's coming up. Nidalee's going to go to dragon here. Beautiful. Shove, lean to one side. Nice, good quality ward up there. You get the beautiful. You need to be punishing this Echo with max range. Can't let him do this for free. Nice. Again, you're giving him too much room here, though. There's no like right now. He just uses Q, right?
Yeah.
So he has nothing. Like he should no way be able to auto attack those creeps there for free. You have TP, so you might be able to counter this top play. Same thing. Here we go. Again, you got to be reacting to this, and you got in a way in these matchups, it's kind of like you got to preemptively QW. Again, doing that fadeaway QW. You have to read his movements, see that he's looking to posture onto you aggressively, and then QW and run away.
Right.
It's a tricky one, but it's just that's how you got to play it. All right, so it looks like you ult, go for a reset, come back with your TP. Complement your jungler by leaning. I like it. Good vision. Beautiful. Nice. He has no E. Job. I think as soon as you see Renekton E over this wall, you got to start running there because you know that Echo could be there.
Yeah. I think I might have, but he at this point of the game he's like 1-4 or something. I'm pretty sure. Like really far behind, so I'm like really not wanting that fight. I don't think.
Okay, so you're farming pretty well here. Much better respecting there. That was really good. You tethered that really nicely. Beautiful. Look at that, dude. This is so much better. Look at this.
Thank you.
Good. Good reaction. You reacted. Boom. You QW. Then you walk back up. He has no cooldowns. Get another Q. Beautiful. See that? That little micro interaction changes things completely. You tether the Q, his engage range. Because look at this. As soon as he turns around, you actually turn around. So he doesn't get in range.
Yeah.
Now, and then you come back, so he has no EQ. You get a really nice max range QW. Then you walk up aggressively and get another Q. Because you know his cooldowns are down.
Yeah.
Much better, man. Exactly what I'm looking for. And notice how that changes everything completely? It just changes the dynamic of the lane.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, you get another nice EQ here. Beautiful. Here we go. Good trades. Nice. Fine. You got a lot of gold here, so you're looking for reset. Luden's nice. Okay, so you've got a good CS. I think you got a strong vein. You can play the front to back team fight. I think you're looking good right now. mean, considering you gave first blood to the Echo, and that whole situation happens,
Yeah.
um, I think you've done a pretty good job of recovering. Oh, okay. Nice ult. Nice. Look, and this is what I'm saying, dude. Look, the thing with you is that you know how to play team fight. Your skirmishing's pretty solid. Your team fighting's pretty good. Your farming's pretty good, apart from minus the W usage sometimes. Like, you know what you're doing.
Thank you.
And this is the thing, because at your elo, it's true. Everyone knows how to play their champion pretty well. You know, everyone who's made it to high diamond, they have pretty good champ mastery. Now it's about those small details, dude. So honestly, I think I've seen enough with this VOD. And I think over these past two VODs, from what I've seen, man, is that there's a few key areas that I would urge you to continue to refine. And look, this is going to be a little bit miserable. I'll be honest with you. It's gonna be really difficult for you to break through. This is why a lot of people say, and even I had this conversation with Nathan, is that going from Diamond 2 to Master Tier can be an absolute pain in the dick. Like it's rough.
Yeah.
Because it is a lot of small details. Okay. So across these two VODs, it's all in the first 10 minutes.
Right.
That's it. Really is. It is all in the first 10 minutes for you. Your mana rationing and conservation needs some work with Orianna specifically. Okay?
Oh,
you need to be actively thinking, what is your intention with using your mana? Right? Do you want to conserve your mana and extend out for an X amount or X item? Or is that not possible because you're going to give too much room for a roam-oriented champion? Because this ties in directly and goes hand in hand with tempo assessment.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Right? As we've seen, your tempo assessment is just off. You're not thinking about how I can actually lock this guy in lane. You're playing a control mage. You're going to be versing a lot of assassins at this elo range. Your job is to isolate the lane. You do this through great mana rationing and conservation, but also just having intention. It's fine to use it as long as you instantly want to reset. You did a great, actually, you actually did a really good quality reset this game. Ties in with tempo assessment, which ties in directly with ward location and timings.
Right.
With your intention to heavy lean, and also ties in with lane positioning and the way you're posturing in the lane.
Gotcha.
Which allows you to lock them in lane. So this is all for locking. This is all for like locking people in lane, and then also this is all for like setting yourself up for taking really good trades in lane. Right? This is just you just have to do this. You got to get really really good at this. This has to be your level of play.
Gotcha.
Now this is just one element. These three things is just one portion of it. The next portion, which will take a lot of other time, is I would say the two other things. Actually, before we go on to that, I would say I really want to compliment your jungle awareness. I think your jungle awareness is really good, and just your mini map awareness in general, I think is quite solid. That is one area that I think you've improved on a lot, and that's a really good skill to have.
Thank you.
The last thing I will urge you to improve on is your micro and tethering. Right, and hopefully, I've made those areas quite like the specific parts within these VODs very obvious to you, which areas I mean by micro and tethering.
Yeah, you have.
But at the end of the day, dude, it just requires a lot of discipline. It requires a lot of attention to detail, and you can't afford to autopilot. You can't afford to autopilot your micro. You got to be and micro, good micro. It always ties in because you're not going to have amazing micro 24/7. It's like kind of like. It's kind of like something you turn on. It's like, okay, I'm versing an Echo, so I need to have great micro when he's looking to E me. When I'm not around Echo and I don't really need to tether any specific ability, then my micro doesn't need to be on point 24/7, because it's very exhausting. So it's specific to an ability. And that actually makes improving your micro much easier because you're like, oh, I see the direct result of great quality tethering.
Gotcha.
Because you know exactly what you're looking for.
Yeah.
So look, man, moving forward, you need to get into the details of the first 10 minutes. If you're dying to a gank, you're dying in a 1v1, you're allowing the enemy to roam, you're not getting good quality trades in the first 10 minutes, then that's where you need to direct your attention. Both these VODs, you put yourself in a poor quality situation multiple times. and your team happen to just hold on and get you through to the mid game where you can like beat Orianna and just do Orianna things, which is
Right.
not reliable. Your job is to make sure or guarantee that you get to 15 minutes being a fed Orianna.
Yeah.
That's your goal. Make sense?
Yeah, yeah. Everything makes sense. Yeah. That's awesome.
I'm gonna upload these VODs to my Mid Lane Academy so you can refer back to them anyway. So
Cool. Yeah, I mean I recorded the whole thing anyway, if that's all right. But yeah, cool. So this is going to be Mid Lane Academy